Welcome to Please Me. This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Eve is a licensed physical therapist who treats conditions that relate to sexual health. Please sit back and enjoy the show. Hello, listeners, and welcome to another incredibly sexy interview with your host, Eve, the face of safe sex, on Please Me, the podcast that aims to destigmatize conversations about sex and sexual health by turning the sheets into our classroom. I am so pumped to be into my second season, and I have an incredible lineup of fun guests and sexy topics to share with you in season 2. I hope you got to listen in on my last podcast where I had Mizzy Bender on the show talking about her events, her store, and her story. Go back and check it out if you haven't done so already. Today, I have an Instagram sensation on, and I have to say I am so excited to interview her. Her name is Adrianne Grayson, and she has me dancing around my kitchen wanting to prepare something special for my man. Adrianne is AKA, also known as Peacock Mama, who identifies as a free soul, a mother of 6, and a bonus mom to 1, a wife of 11 years, and last but definitely not least, she is a certified master herbalist. She is also the owner of Peacock Apothocary, and she is all about herbs and healthy, orgasmic relationships. If you follow her on Instagram, you will have seen her posting about making natural concoctions in her kitchen to boost her man's sexual prowess and enhance his and her sexual enjoyment. And I just love her energy, confidence, and her brand of real life sexy. So without further ado, I want to welcome her to Please Me podcast family, and I can't wait to get into this interview. Hi, Adrianne. How are you today?
Hello, I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for being here today. I'm so excited to talk to you. You mentioned that you love all things feminine and masculine within you. And I would love for you to expand on what you mean by that concept here.
Oh, okay. Well, I believe that we're a combination of both men and women are a combination of feminine and masculine qualities. And I love to embrace both of mine and both in everyone that I see. So when I figured this whole feminine and masculine thing out, I realized that it helps me understand everyone better and everything more. There are even feminine and masculine parts of one plant. So yes, it's just that I embrace all of me. Even if it doesn't look like it should look, as society presents a woman should be, I just have learned to embrace it all. So, and the same in others that I see. So, yes.
I love that. And I talk a lot about relationship anarchy and throwing away all of the societal constructs that don't serve us. And that's exactly what you're talking about when you say, that maybe it doesn't look like what a woman is supposed to do, right? But, we can do what we want to do. We can choose what we want to do. And we, can make our lives what we want it to be. And that's what I try and encourage as much as possible. And I love that you're living that as well.
Oh, can I expand upon that?
Yes.
Also, it's so funny because on Instagram, what I'm doing, preparing the herbs and nurturing, is just the only thing that I'm doing that's feminine, so the fact that I'm talking in front of a screen, the fact that I get, I might get dressed up, all of those are just like big, look at me type things, which are masculine things. But because we don't quite understand what we see, it's embraced. So my whole thing about embracing the masculine and the feminine in myself and others is to understand that what we might think is what a woman should be may not even be. What we might like a woman to be might be a masculine quality. So the other side we should be able to do embrace also. So yes, I love the fact also I can expand upon that also with my husband never being seen. He's behind the scenes. He's subconscious. He's the you know, the water type energy, So that's his feminine qualities. And it works for us because where I shine, he falls back and he takes care of things that needs to be taken care of because I wouldn't be able to do all that I do without him. So it's just a wonderful thing of just embracing myself, also, like I've said, and just seeing all of those things in other people. So yes.
I love that. And yes, we all have masculine and feminine qualities. And, embracing that is part of embracing who you are. And also, you can refine those things too. Because sometimes some people's, say masculine energy takes a hold of them and then they're really not so in touch. And I'm talking about women are not so in touch with their feminine side. And so it's good to have a balance, because you really, there's masculine qualities that are going to move you forward in life, but there are also feminine qualities that are going to move you forward in life. So really embracing all of it is really beautiful. So I appreciate that. That you said that. You focus a lot on men's health and supporting a healthy sex life with your posts. And I just love to see how nurturing you are with your husband, which is really like a feminine quality, right? But the business aspect of it is more of a masculine quality. So you're really kind of showing both things. And there's an old saying that, the quickest way to a man's heart is through his stomach, right? And you have certainly taken this concept and embraced it while creating these herbal remedies and concoctions for your husband to boost his, say, semen quality and his libido. What made you gravitate towards men's health particularly?
Well, I guess it chose me because my husband randomly, I remember actually, okay, so I always take this as an important thing. Whenever I really remember a scene, like a movie in my past, then I'm like, oh, this was a turning point in my life. So I remember we were sitting at the table and actually at our work table, and he was like, yeah, I think I want you to start find some herbs that are good for my health, and then start making me some tea. And I was like, okay, cool. It makes sense because we were already on our health journey. We've been on it for years, so we've just been kind of building up to this. So I was like, okay, cool. So I Googled some herb shops that sold herbs, loose leaf tea. And I Googled what are good for men's health, the herbs that are good for men's health. And then I just went and got the herbs and I just started making the teas. So my whole social media thing, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to talk about. So my husband was like, okay, you have 6 kids, you work out, you do this, you do that, you cook, all of these things that you do, just show the world that. So I had one video where I was like, okay, so every morning I make this tea for my husband. Well, that went viral. And that's why we're here. So I just listened to the people. They're like, we want more. I got all these followers simply because of this video of me making tea for my husband. And I'm just like, how weird, But that has propelled me to go to herbalist school. That I'm also now in holistic health professional school, just to, keep growing because I really want to be a doctor of naturopathy, just so I can know everything. And that's so really the men chose me, which is funny, but that's how it happened.
Wow, it really did. That's incredible. Yeah. It really did choose you. That's amazing. And you know what, too? Your husband asked you to make him something. So it was also his influence, that got you to thinking about how you wanted to create the tea for him and, all of the products that you ended up buying and then creating it for him. And then once he started using it, I'm curious, what sort of effects did he find he had after using it?
Well, so at first he said he just didn't feel like he used to feel. So whatever that means in men's talk, So he was like, it's just not the same. And I'm like, okay. When I asked my husband to explain, he's not the talker. I'm the talker, right? So he's just like, that's just it. It just didn't feel the same. So anyways, he was like, I think I need something else just to make me be more, balanced how I used to be, when we were like early 20s, So, So ever since, he's been on this herbal regimen along with, all of the things that you do for your health, like exercise, sleep, healthy eating, low stress, all those good things. On top of, putting the herbs on top just made him feel like, okay, we're back at it again, and it makes sense. It makes sense because testosterone levels can start to drop, 20s. Right? It's so crazy. When I learned that, I was just like, wow, like the men are at their peak of testosterone in their teens. Like that's crazy to me, So yeah, it's important for men to and women, us all to take care of our bodies so that they can work the way they're supposed to work. Yeah.
Absolutely. And having morning wood is the way a man's body is supposed to work. And when it starts to disappear or become non-existent, then there's something wrong with the blood flow. There's something going on with the health, the general overall health of the body, that's causing that morning wood to disappear. So that is one of the signs of erectile dysfunction. And you mentioned, that men in their 20s, their testosterone starts dropping, and 20% of men have erectile dysfunction in their 20s, and it goes up. I know. And it goes up 10% per decade. So 30% in their 30s, 40% in their 40s. So it's really so common. And so many people are not even talking about it. They feel ashamed, they can't get hard, they stay soft, they can't put it in. All of those things become like a point of shame for a man. And I feel like we need to throw that shame out the window because there is help. There are herbs that you can take. There are foods that you can eat. There are treatments that you can do to really help you to get that, big dick energy going, right?
Right.
and that affects everything. Like when you have a normal functioning sexual life, you're going to have a better life overall generally, and it's going to help you in all aspects of your life, whether it be in the bedroom or at work. So it's really so important to focus on sexual health. So I love that you do.
Yes.
So let's stay on the topic of men's health a little bit more, because I also I think it's really important. And like I said, erectile dysfunction is so prevalent. Tell me about the natural Viagra herb that you mentioned on Instagram called Tonkat Ali. And tell me about the research that you've read or know about, and what are the common ways to ingest it, take it, drink it, whatever.
Wow. Okay. That's really weird because I literally made a lot of them. This is Tongat Ali. I'm just like, oh, here is Tongat Ali. But this is Tongat Ali with a mix of other things because Tongat Ali is it has a strong taste. So if you put a little bit in your smoothie, that's when my husband, he started putting a little bit in his smoothie. It just ruins the smoothie. It's just like you have to guzzle it down because it's disgusting. But anyway,
okay.
So that's important to know. And a lot of people, when I introduced that I was going to have this, they're like, "Oh gosh, I'm so scared." But no, I'm like, no, I'm an herbalist. This is what I do. I'm going to make it delicious for you guys, so you'll want to take it. So, anyways, Tonga Ali is it's literally broken down as a walking stick of a champion. That's Tonga is the walking stick. Ali is the champion, like Muhammad Ali. If you think of that, right? Okay. So it's a male tonic for the body. It's good for libido, stamina, strength, testosterone boosting. The yellow Tonga Ali has been done. The most research has been done on it with men, and just different studies of them taking the supplement versus the placebo and just seeing the effects that it has. And it's done, made improvements for those that are actually taking the Tonga Ali. So, it's just well known as being a great meal tonic. And yeah.
And what you just showed me in that little package, is that like something that you sell, the little package, or is that your okay?
Yes. So this is what I put different blends in these packages.
So you have a blend of different things in that particular one that's for like men's health. Okay, awesome.
Right.
I'm such a big believer in natural medicine. I feel like food is medicine. And unfortunately, doctors don't prescribe food, they prescribe medication, And so we, as, advocates for our own health, have to sort of find what natural remedies are out there for us, because we can't rely on the, medical profession because they really have no training in nutrition and, they can't point us in the right direction. Unfortunately, we go to them when we're sick, but when we're healthy, but we want to boost our, say, libido or our sex lives, what do we do? And we have to look upon, look research on our own to find those things. I often recommend that my clients eat watermelon because it has an organic compound called citrulline in it that boosts blood flow, much like Viagra. And I also love it because it's very hydrating, and it has lots of, water in it. Obviously, it's called watermelon, and it's hydrating, and your body needs a lot of water in order to function properly. It's half of your body weight in ounces. What's recommended for everybody to get enough hydration. Do you ever, add fruits into your concoctions or anything like that?
Oh yes. I have different juices. So many different juices and smoothies that I say are good for to making you taste good when you climax. Those that will keep you erect, like beet juice. Beets are so good because they're high in nitric oxide, and that allows blood to flow, and all that good stuff. So yes, I'm always, especially watermelon. I don't talk about watermelon as much because it's not in season now, but yes, I've made smoothies and juices with watermelon, and even taking the rind because that's the most potent part of the watermelon for it to produce those blood flow effects. But yes, I love looking up foods. I've read books on just so I can know foods that will boost libido and just sexual health. Like berries, blueberries are really good for men to eat to keep that blood flowing. What else? Eggs are really good, but I'm very particular about eggs and just getting them from organic, pasture raised, chickens and all that good stuff. But rice is even good. Wild rice is good for it boosts libido and sexual health, which makes sense because the countries that rice is predominantly been eaten over centuries have millions of kids. They have millions of people there. It makes sense. But yes, I love incorporating foods and just knowing what I'm eating is healthy for my vagina. It's so powerful to know that what you're putting in your body is helpful to your vagina. I don't know why it is, it makes you feel that way, but it's amazing to have a healthy, can I say this? I can say this, right?
Yes.
Okay. To have oh my God, do I need to censor myself? But yes, to have a healthy penis and a healthy vagina, it gives you strength. Just like if you think about it, since we're in this masculine world, but these structures around us represent the phallus. It reminds you of your strength. I'm sure in the ancient times, which I know there are more structures. Even nature shows the vagina just to remind you of the beauty of your soul. In traditional Chinese mythology, that the cervix is directly connected to a woman's heart. So it's just very important for us to not always make it dirty. Well, never to make it dirty. It's literally a body part, and it's literally a whole system that is completely dedicated to reproduction, pleasure, all of these things. So it's very cool. Everything is very, very cool.
It is. It really is. I mean, when you think about creation and how women carry a life inside of them, I always just find that to be such a miraculous thing. And, really protecting, taking care of your body is so key, to having a happy life, and when we neglect those areas, it can cause us unhappiness. So absolutely embracing, your health, and not being ashamed of seeking help for issues that, are around your genital area, because stuff happens. You got to take care of that just as much as you have to take care of your, blood pressure and your heart and everything else. So absolutely, I'm with you for sure. So also, and I just wanted to put one more, wanted to talk about one more thing before we moved on to women's body parts, because you mentioned vaginas, and I want to jump right into that conversation too. But I wanted to ask you, because I know that pineapple is really good to help change the quality and flavor of semen. And are there any other things that you recommend in terms of improving the quality of semen?
Beets are really good.
Beets,
Dates,
dates.
they're good for increasing sperm count. Um,
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
uh,
that.
uh-huh.
That's a great
Pineapple,
one for fertility,
yeah, yes, great for fertility. I think of some other foods. I think of other foods. You said the sperm. Say it one more time. What did you add? What was the question?
Well, to improve the sperm quality and taste.
Okay, yes, taste. Okay, yes. So of course, watermelon also. So watermelon, pineapples, dates, berries. I would say anything that's sweet, like mangoes, anything that's actually sweet and naturally sweet to the taste is gonna come out, sweet. Um, what water, making sure to drink water, because people forget, or they'll drink other random drinks, and it's just not going to taste well, when it comes out, because the body's trying to get rid of the toxins, and then they're coming out. So
That's right.
and
So if you're only drinking toxic things like
right,
soda, you know what I mean? That's
right.
going to come out in your urine. So drinking lots and lots, not in your urine and also in your semen. So
Mhm.
drinking lots and lots of water to like sort of flush out those
Yeah,
toxins is so important. And like I said
yeah.
before, half of your body weight in ounces is what you should be drinking in
Hmm.
water intake every single day, which is no small feat. I mean, you have to drink a lot and a lot, a lot, to
Yeah.
so being conscious of that. And there are some people that are very conscious of that, and then there's some people that like drink no water all day long. So being conscious of that is important for sure.
Yeah. And when you first start drinking water, how you should, it seems overwhelming, but then it seems regular, and you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't drank water in like 3 hours," and you'll want to, because you're
Yes.
used to it. So I heard this one girl. It was a perfect analogy for me. She said, "Would you have a sink full of dishes and use a cap full of water to wash the dishes?" And she's like, "No, you would." Pour the water in to make sure that they're clean. So, liken it to your body, the same. You wouldn't just drink a little bit of water to clean your body. I know you want to drink water enough to make sure that you're good and balanced. So yeah.
Yes, that's a great analogy. You really
Mhm.
want to pour that water in,
Right.
and throughout the day. And I have to say, like from an incontinence standpoint for women, because a lot of women experience incontinence. In fact, I think the statistic is that 30 something percent of female athletes actually experience incontinence while performing sports. We don't
Wow.
talk about incontinence enough, but incontinence is so common, and so many women experience it, especially after childbirth and as you get older. But
Mhm.
even when they're young and they're athletic and they're, doing strenuous things, that can cause incontinence too. So drinking water throughout the day and sipping on it throughout the day is the best way to kind of get your water intake, because your body is using what you're giving it throughout the day. Instead of chugging it all down, your body can only use so much, and then you're going to pee it out, right? So you want to continually give your body water throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I love that analogy. I'm definitely going to steal that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a woman's hard on, and
Okay.
how a woman must also become engorged in order to become ready for sex. A
Mhm.
lot of people don't realize that the clitoris, which is the female equivalent of the penis, is also almost about the same size, and it becomes erect and engorged with blood before sex, and it swells up just like the penis does.
Yeah.
and often women don't even know that about themselves, nor do men. And they try to jump ahead way too many steps and don't properly prepare the woman for sex. So tell me what gets you ready for fun.
I would say just always ready. Like I stay ready. And the way I stay ready is taking care of myself. That's the main thing. So a big deal for me is making sure I'm like put together for me, like, so I like to do my hair. I like to make sure I take care of my skin. And then just put a little makeup on, make sure I have something really cute. I love clothes. They're like my favorite thing. So I'm like always wanting to make sure I'm good. Physically, but also inside. So, I might fast. Most days I don't even eat till 12, just to make sure that I'm balanced. I make sure I get my water. I drink my herbs. I have some the tea, one of my tea blends here, because it helps my hormones. We're ruled by our hormones, that it's a big part of being a woman. And we don't have to be stressed. There are so many herbs that calm you. Like I have lots of kids, and I do lots of things. So yes, I feel overwhelmed. Yesterday, I did lots of things yesterday, and I was making spaghetti. And while I was making spaghetti, the kids just kept coming in the kitchen. So I had these cast iron pans, and I'm like, you guys, you're gonna hurt yourself, So the kids being crazy coming in and out, me trying to cook dinner, this and that, I felt overwhelmed, And at that time, I didn't have tea, but what I did was I just sat down on the couch. I ate my food. I said, give me some space and let's watch Harry Potter together. So even those things get me ready for my husband later on that night or this morning. You know what I mean? So just making sure I take care of me physically, putting good things in my body, because after a while you can feel it. So if I eat a lot of, or if I eat something that's junk, like maybe some fries, I can feel the difference from when I just ate a bowl of grapefruit, and I like the way I feel when I eat a bowl of grapefruit. Whereas I had to build up to that because I grew up on fries, So I had to rewire my body. So now it's easy for me to be like, no, I don't want that anymore. Let me just, have this as dessert, an orange or some strawberries or something. So that's what keeps me. I take care of me first. It might seem as though I take care of my husband first because that's what I show. But the thing about the truth is that you only know the truth if you see the whole picture. You don't see it just from a little piece because it's an illusion. I take care of Adrianne first. And I make sure that I'm good so then I can pour into him and all of my children and everyone that sees me on the internet, and all these herbs I make for all these men and, but I take care of me first. I even sometimes when I'm making herbs late at night or early in the morning, Chanel is my favorite perfume, and I'll just spray it on me and get something. Like I put my robe on. I'm so extra. I have to match my house shoes to my robe, and I'll just make herbs with them. That's how I stay, ready and good and balanced. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. You're talking about a whole lot of different things. I did an episode on lingerie and how, it can really like just give us that, big clit energy vibe, and so you're talking about your appearance, like feeling confident in yourself. And then also like giving yourself nutrition. Nutrition is 80% of health. And, a lot of people don't focus on their nutrition. And you mentioned having, a bowl of fries versus like a bowl of grapefruit, right? And how it really makes you feel after you finish that bowl of French fries compared to the bowl of grapefruit. And I feel like, as kids or teenagers, you don't really pay attention so much to how the food makes you feel. But, as you get older, you really kind of tune into like the way that food makes you feel. And you're absolutely right. Humans, like we need at least 10 servings of fruits and vegetables in our body every day to be healthy. And the average American eats one and a half. That is so depleted in nutrition, So we really do need to eat way more fruits and vegetables, and I really encourage people to eat as many as possible. So absolutely, agree with you 100%. And I saw one of the posts that you did on Instagram, and you were talking about a recipe for getting that natural wop or wet ass pussy.
Right.
And I have to say that, lubrication is so important when it comes to enjoying sex. I also treat conditions of, decreased vaginal sensitivity and dryness in my physical therapy practice, because there is a treatment that you can do to kind of increase the blood flow, which in turn increases the wetness. So, what do you know to do to enhance that naturally with herbs or plants? Um, Let me know what you
Yeah.
know.
Yes, a good rule of thumb that I focused on when I was trying to get pregnant with my first baby. I learned that eat things with a seed, like as a baby is inside of you, like avocados, mangoes, things that look like a woman who's carrying a baby, like we do, and they're great for your vagina. Also, herbs that I love are red raspberry leaf. Red raspberry leaf is good for everybody. It's good for the man in the house, the woman, all the kids. Kids can even drink the red raspberry leaf tea to get rid of a cold. So it's really good for women, and just balancing our hormones at any stage in life. Even as my daughters who are like 8 and my teenager who's 15, balancing them, balancing me, in my stage of life. And as I get older, when I go through menopause, all those things, just balancing the woman. So it's really, really good. Don Quai, but wild yam roots, all of those things. Burdock is really good for nurturing the uterus and keeping it strong. So yeah, those are a few herbs and the foods. Yes, and once again, water. It's like water, water, water. You can't
So basic,
say
but
it enough,
yes.
right? I guess because we've gotten so away from just being animals in a way, that we need water, just like regular water. So we have to remind one another that it's really important. It's how everything, flows so wonderfully. I think you said that about our bodies being 80% water. Did you say that? Did you say it was 80% water? Yeah.
No, I didn't say that, but go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. Okay. But yeah, just our bodies being mostly water, just like how the earth. It's just a reflection of how the earth is mostly water, just like we are. And so yes, all of those things.
Absolutely. No, no part of your body can function if it's dehydrated. It's just not going to function properly. So you need, because your blood is mostly water, right? And your blood is what brings nutrition to all parts of your body. So if your blood doesn't have enough fluid in it, it becomes thick, and then, the particles in your blood can stick together and they can create problems in the blood flow. So having watery water or watery blood, or lots of water in your blood is the best thing to do. You don't want to
Yeah.
over drink water, but half of your body weight in ounces is what you should try to shoot for every day. So yeah, absolutely water and all those other herbs too. We got to check those out and start incorporating them into our lives because, trying to balance ourselves and like you said, hormonally balance ourselves is so important. And unfortunately, we're not getting that help from our doctors when we go and tell them that our hormones, or they tell us that our hormones are off. And then what? You know what I mean? Then what do you got to? Then what do you do to help yourself? So and herbs are the best way, in my opinion, to try to find balance hormonally. Try that first before you try any kind of medication because medications have side effects, and of course you can overtake an herb, so you have to obviously pay attention to, you know, that as well. But it's natural, so it's going to be, not as harsh on your body, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to make the choice to make a lifestyle change, because herbs can herbs can go like break through a bad lifestyle. But maybe not, most of the time not, because herbs are, to me, I see that we are the land, and the herbs are the seeds where they can, where it should be planted. And if the land is rocky or just not good soil, they can't do their job. They can't grow and bring all of that life to your body. So it's very, very important to know that, because I get a few people, not a lot, but a few people are just like, well, herbs didn't work for me. I'm like, did you make a lifestyle change? Because that is it's most important.
Absolutely. Yes. And those changes, I'm like I said before, I'm a certified health coach, so I help people to make those changes. And those changes happen over time. It's not like, okay, tomorrow I'm starting new, I'm going to be taking my herbs, my whole life is going to change, my diet's going to change, my, exercise regimen is going to change. And like doing it all at once is setting yourself up for failure, because it takes 6 months in order for any one habit to set in. You really have to like gradually make these changes, but then make them part of, like you said, your lifestyle, the way that you live. This is the way that you're going to live from now until the end of time, right?
Right.
You want to incorporate these things into your life, gradually, slowly, and make them part of your everyday routine. And that is when you're going to see the most benefits, for sure.
Totally. Yes.
So you mentioned that you wanted to talk about taboo things, and I'm curious to know what you mean by that. In another episode that I had another guest on, and she was an expert in BDSM and kink. And we talked about that 40% of Americans view themselves as kinky, and over a third reported having a particular kink or fetish. So, what sorts of out of the box sexual activities do you enjoy?
Ooh. Okay, I don't know if I can answer that, but look, I'm like,
that you don't feel comfortable with, we can certainly not, include. And you don't have to say she's covering her mouth, she's shy.
Right, this is when my shyness kicks in. No, it's just simply, because I share so much. I'm like, oh, I have to keep a little bit, a little bit covered. But, right. No, why I wanted to talk about that is that, like, even what I do has changed my life. And I want to, even me just talking about mental health in the way that I do, very, openly, it's taboo. It's really considered taboo,
Yes.
So the friends that I used to be more close to, they're not there anymore. And that's fine. I have no problem with it, because this is who I really truly am. And that's why I mentioned that before. I'm like, I just love that I have fully embraced myself at this point, because it did kind of take this to push me over the edge. Like, okay, I'm not going to not give the people what they want and what I enjoy giving them, because I'm afraid of a few friends that don't even know me, So even these conversations are taboo. I see a lot of things like with women, us liking sex, being married, that seems like taboo. It's like, why do you really like sex? It's more fun to talk about how much we hate it and how much our husbands are dragging us to the bedroom, instead of, oh, I'm going to make this for him because I want him tonight, and I want him every night. Or like, I've had comments on my videos like, are you going to let him rest? No, I'm not. So what? Even me just me being open with that, and just, just saying no. This is fun and I enjoy it, and that's okay, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And sexuality is something to be enjoyed. It's our adult playground. And I would hate to be, talking with all my girlfriends about how much I hate sex and how much, my husband has to drag me to the bedroom. No.
Right.
This is like a whole area of life where you can really find so much enjoyment, fulfillment, and pleasure. I mean, our bodies were built for pleasure. So if you're ignoring your pleasure, and you're not giving yourself that opportunity, you're really missing out. So I encourage people to find that pleasure, whatever it may be. It could be just self pleasure, learning your own body, learning what makes you feel good. That is very important to know. And also to know, to tell your partner so that they can satisfy you, so all of those things. And you're right, having these conversations is taboo. And that's exactly why I have this podcast, because it shouldn't be taboo. This is all, natural. This is exactly how we all got here. You can't have a person on earth without having sex first. You know what I mean? So it should not be something that should be a taboo topic. So I embrace that you've embraced that about yourself. And you're okay with, the people that don't want to hear about it. You know what? They can block you, or they can, I've told people before, if that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's okay. Just block me, That way you don't see me anymore, because this is what I'm doing and this is my profession. And this is, what you've chosen to do for your profession too. And I applaud you for that, because it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there so that everybody knows what you're doing. It's not just like your circle of friends, but it's like everybody knows what you're doing. And this is what your expertise is, so people are going to seek that from you. So, and I'm with you too, when you said, are you going to give your man are you going to give your man a break? Heck no. Why? I mean, it's natural to want to have sex on a regular basis. That's natural. It's fun.
Yeah. And it's celebrated it seems like when we get older, it's just like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, we're so weird when it comes to sex, societal, in a societal way, because when is it okay to have sex? Not when you're young, and then it's weird if you're not married. Then you're like just putting yourself out there, instead of, that could be just the way you enjoy it. That's your personality of the way you do things. Or when you get married, you can't have sex, and then when you get older in marriage, that's nasty. You know what I mean? So it's just like, so when is this okay for you guys? So I don't care what you guys think. I'm just going to do what I feel is okay. And you guys can learn, watch, be encouraged, change, because I get lots of messages, personal messages that are like, you have helped me, you've helped my marriage. I'm not married, but you made me want to, keep myself healthy. I mean, I see it. Yes, it comes off fun and lighthearted, and that is who I am. But behind the scenes, the purpose is to change generations. We have been in this space of unhealthiness for so long that it has affected us for so many years. Our grandkids. Like, I'm a grandchild of someone who, of my grandfather. He passed away due to his food, choices. So and I had to make a change, for my kids. We don't eat meat, but every once in a while I will let the kids just do it. I want them to make their own choices. I don't cook it, but if it's around, I'll let them have the choice. So I have my oldest son. He's just like, no, but it's his choice. And he wouldn't even have the choice if he didn't know that you don't have to. You can just eat fruits and vegetables and random things, that aren't meat. But it's the choice that, it's the generation change. So yeah, I love having fun. I love making it kind of like grabbing your attention. I saw this speech or something about Tony Robbins. I believe that's his name. He's a motivational speaker. Tony, is that his name? Tony Robbins? No, Tony something. His name is Tony something. Anyway, but he said the reason why he curses so harshly in his motivational speeches is because it hits a part of your brain that'll pay attention. So when I say this is how you get your nut to taste sweet, it hits your part of your brain like, wait, what did she say? And then you're like, oh wait, you can eat this, this, and this. And so it goes somewhere else where you will remember and you will want to make the change. So basically, All of that to say, yeah, it's deeper. And
I
it's
like that. And it's so true. Like for me, I've listened to a lot of different podcasts, and a lot of them are very medical. They're like from, doctors and
Mhm.
psychologists, and they're talking about sexual health, but it's so medical. It doesn't make any sense. Like I don't even understand what they're talking about half the time because it's all medical terminology. I really want this to be for like everybody, for all of us to understand, and what words words are so powerful, and what words are going to wake people up and make them like listen,
Right,
and
right.
that's what you're tuning into, people that are really interested in this topic. And because you're saying what you're saying, and you're kind of, waking them up in whatever you're saying, like when you said, wet ass pussy or whatever, like get that wet ass pussy, and people are like, huh, you know I want that, and it makes people listen. So I applaud you for that too. It's so important to speak to people where they are, and meet them where they are.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
So I like to ask this question just for fun, but again, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to answer it. But I do ask this to my guests generally at the end of our talk. So my next question to you is, do you have a favorite sex position?
Oh, okay, yes, I can answer this.
Okay.
I'm like, can I answer this? No, I can't because I'm talking to you. If I was talking to a dude, I wouldn't be able to answer. Okay, yes. Okay. Okay, I'm a little shy.
Look at her. She's so cute. She's shy. She has 6 kids. And talks about having sex every single day. Yet she's shy about talking about her favorite sex position.
Okay, I would have to say from behind. That's my favorite. It's very like he's like in control. It's very primal. It's like
So doggy style or a
yes,
different variation on that?
any variation, any variation of him behind taking complete control of me, and yes, just being in that space. I love, 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 love. Yes.
So, you're talking about like, playing with submission and dominance, and
Right.
that's a total BDSM thing, And like I said, 40% of Americans say that they have a kinky side. So it's really very common, and which is why I'm trying to, destigmatize these conversations, because everybody's having these pleasurable experiences, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, So thank you for sharing that. I know that was a little embarrassing. But I do love that, you picked a position that you could also like stimulate your own clitoris at the same time, because 95% of women need clitoral stimulation in order to have an orgasm, and a lot of people don't really even know that. So if you're not stimulating your clitoris, a lot of times you will never reach orgasm, and many women have said that they've never reached orgasm, and lo and behold, they can do it when they masturbate, you
Right.
know
Right.
but they can't do it when they're actually having sex, because they don't know how to communicate that with their partners, or they don't know how to incorporate what they're doing when they're masturbating into, the bedroom when they're having sex. And so they're not getting their needs met. And I think that is so important, So, whether it be supplementing with herbs, or whether it be, telling your partner where to touch you, it's so important to really enhance, the female pleasure. Well, Adrianne, I am so honored to have been able to spend this time with you and to pick your brain about all the sexy work that you do. Sexual health is so key to our overall enjoyment in life, and I encourage anyone who is experiencing any kind of issue in their sex life to seek help. Maybe that will be incorporating herbs into their daily regimen, or it may be seeking the help of a professional. But before I jump into the next thing, I want to make sure that all of my guests can find you. So could you please let them know where they can find you?
Okay, my website is peacockmama.com. So just regular peacock and then mama.com. And then my Instagram and everywhere, I think everywhere, TikTok, everywhere, is at Peacock Mama TV. So yeah.
Okay, definitely check it out. I follow her on Instagram and I just love all of her posts. I'm always dancing around as I'm watching them and I get into the spirit. So I love your energy. You just have like this infectious personality.
Thank you. Thank
So thank you
you.
for coming on today.
Yes.
As a licensed physical therapist working in the areas of pelvic and sexual health, I treat conditions such as erectile dysfunction, decreased vaginal sensitivity and dryness, incontinence, and painful intercourse. Often after pelvic surgery or cancer treatments, one finds themselves in need of healing in this area too. And I encourage you to push away the unwarranted shame and seek help. Let's redefine norms and curate a lifestyle that sparks optimal sexual well-being. So I close today with the promise of transformation towards peak sexual health. If you are ready to embark on a journey of sexual well-being with me, reach out to me on pleaseme.online, where you can schedule a consultation or an appointment. Until next time, visit pleaseme.online to reach Eve or for more information on products to increase blood flow and overall health, for her curated list of her favorite toys, and for swag that shows that you are a big fan. Please consider supporting the show.